deputies in the death of Cameron Williams. 6 other correctional staffers, including the prison's former warden Randall Hepp, have waived their preliminary hearings and will be arraigned on either July 30th or August 8th. As fencing continues to go up around downtown Milwaukee ahead of next week's Republican National Convention, safety during the event is top of mind for city leaders. Chief Deputy to the Milwaukee County District Attorney Kent Loveren tells WTMJ's Political Power Hour he is confident that downtown will be as secure as possible for event goers and residents alike.
The good news we have here in this community is that our law enforcement agencies all across this region have always worked well together, very well together. And so we're building on that by bringing in additional law enforcement from around the country to assist. And from everything I see, that's going very, very well.
All vehicles and pedestrians entering the soft security zone will need to pass through one of 5 Secret Service checkpoints throughout the convention. The 41st annual celebration of Bastille Days kicked off today in Milwaukee's Cathedral Square Park. Event organizers tell TMJ4 News that with the Paris Olympics just over 2 weeks away, there's been a renewed interest in all things France.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be a part of Olympics in Paris this year and with the RNC in town. So we look at this as an excellent opportunity to showcase the best what our city has to offer.
I don't think everybody realizes what it takes to put on a 4-day festival that's free to the public.
Bastille Days is open until 11:30 tonight, and the highly popular Storm the Bastille 5K run kicks off at 9. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 8:03.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
With hail and high winds experienced this year in South Milwaukee, Oak Creek, and surrounding areas, Ridgetop Exteriors has been hard at work helping the community get their homes repaired. If you've experienced damage to your home, you need a local and trusted contractor. Ridgetop Exteriors' expert team specializes in navigating the insurance process so your repairs can get done. And they're happy to come out anytime for a free damage inspection. Schedule your free inspection today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. ridgetopexteriors.com.
Relaxed with a cold beverage and a great Friday fish fry in an up-north supper club atmosphere. Right here at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill. WTMJ's John Mercure here for one of my favorite spots. The fish fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. So enjoy your favorite steak, seafood, the pan-fried walleye, even steak and lobster. Your second dinner is free as you dine in one of the 8 beautiful dining rooms. Relax with your favorite beverage on the patio in the woods. It is spectacular. Great place for a beer, a glass of wine. Saturday night, buy one prime rib dinner, get one free. The magnificent Sunday brunch is all you care to eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 always eat for free. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. Wherever you live, it's worth a beautiful drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest for your free dinner this weekend, a Wisconsin summer must-see. Tables are open at my favorite place, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gerber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers take a loss to the Pirates today. Final score 1-0. The Brew Crew begins a series against the Washington Nationals at American Family Field on Friday night. The 2024 Euro Cup final in men's soccer features Spain versus England in a match that will be played Sunday. Keegan Bradley will serve as the captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup team for the 2025 event, which will take place at Bethpage State Park in New York. Taking a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Looks like we've got a closure over in Waukesha County on Wisconsin 67 North. That is closed at both north and south, actually, at US 18 or Sunset Drive. Again, that's Highway 67 North and south closed at Sunset Drive in Waukesha. Taking a look at your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mainly clear skies, a low of 64. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 83. On Saturday, mostly sunny and humid, a chance for thunderstorms, a high of 88. On Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid. We've got a chance for thunderstorms at night, a high of 93. On Monday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, a slight chance for thunderstorms, a high of 91. Right now in Madison, it's 79 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 76. In Waukesha, it's 73. And in Milwaukee, it's 72 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 8:07.
On the field, inside the clubhouse, and everything in between. This is Brewers Weekly. Here's Dominic Cotroneo.
Well, you almost saw history today. Still, doesn't make it taste any better. Brewers fall 1-0 to the Pirates. This is kind of our de facto postgame show. We're going till 9 o'clock tonight. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday evening, the final weekend of the first half. We will take a look back a little bit. We'll talk about today's game plenty here in the first half of the show. And also some miscellaneous thoughts, home run derby, a prospect you're going to want to hear about for the Brewers, the draft coming up on Sunday. A lot to keep track of in what's supposed to be a relaxing time of year. Now, normally we would jump into the highlights after a Thursday day game, right, and talk about all the great stuff that happened in today's game. They got shut out. So nothing to talk about there, but honestly, the story today is obviously Paul Skeens. 7 no-hit innings, matched his career high with 11 strikeouts. I've said it before. I will say it again if you've never heard me say it before. Brewers fans know what good pitching is and bad offense is. That was fantastic, great pitching. He threw everything at any time and any count at any location. I hadn't seen Skeens in person, obviously. I'd seen him the same that you had over television. And seeing it in person, and the poise and the polish, and that every pitch was an effective pitch, it's jarring. He didn't need the velo. Certainly he had it, don't get me wrong. But the splinker, the sinking splitter, whatever you want to call it, was incredible. The slider, which he didn't even use all that much, it was his primary pitch in college. Now it's like, oh yeah, I can throw a slider too. And a curveball, oh yeah, I can throw a changeup too. He barely used the changeup today, but it was such an impressive start. Pat Murphy, Christian Yelich spoke to the media afterward today. They both certainly agreed.
Impressive all the way around. Secondary pitches, heater, command, composure. Yeah, I thought he was great. Yeah. Well, he definitely adjusted. He realized where it was going. 63 pitches in 3 innings. He realized, okay, I got to do something a little different, and he did. And that's when you got to get hits off him, But credit to him. That was the story of the game. He was dynamite. Yeah,
you heard Murph allude to it. And we'll get to his comments on that as well. 63 pitches in the first 3 innings. That was the most that Skeens had thrown in the first 3 innings of a game all season. But then the Brewers kind of got away from that. But at the same time, Murph explains why it's not so easy to just sit there, oh yeah, just work counts. Yeah, it's no big deal. It wasn't like Skeens was bad with his command today. He was still in and around the zone, which makes it doubly hard. Here's how Murph explained it.
We got a really young offensive team that's been really good, but we have to be able to disrupt it. Once we get to 63, we got to recognize it, and we got to ensure that we get them to 100 to get them out of there by 5. And then we can work on their bullpen for 4 innings. That's much easier for anybody, especially a guy as good as him. So we didn't do that. We got to 63, and then we had a couple innings where we just ran through it, swang early in the count. And it's sensitive because if you think you get a pitch to hit, and it's the one pitch you're going to get off this guy, hitting off this guy with 2 strikes is death. So there's a two-edged sword there. You got to credit the pitcher for coming at us in that situation. It's not so easy to just say, well, just run the pitch count up. Well, you're 1-2, you got no chance of getting on the base. Look at the numbers 1-2 or 0-2. So there's an art to doing it, but he recognized that he made the adjustment. And then, then we're at a point where we got to face him for 7 innings. We certainly could have got him out of there in 6, maybe in 5, but he made the adjustment, so all credit to him.
He made the adjustment. He started to attack, and in case you're wondering what those numbers are between an 0-2 count and a 1-2 count, meaning pitcher's in the driver's seat, you're up there trying to survive, you're trying to create something out of nothing. Well, he's only allowed 2 hits all season long with an 0-2 count. Opponents just 2 for 29 with an 0-2 count against Skeens. And this is before today. And with a 1-2 count, they're hitting just 214. That is 9 for 42. So you add all of that up, 11 divided by 71, that's a 155 batting average. You're playing with fire if you're taking pitches and taking your time. Now, the Brewers were very impressive those first few innings at fouling pitches off, right? Like, Terang started the game with a 9-pitch at-bat. You saw Contreras have a 10-pitch at-bat later. You saw, I believe it was Monasterio had a 9-pitch at-bat. Like, all of a sudden, you were getting some great ABs, but could not get the hit, and a hit against Paul Skeens. Christian Yelich agreed he went 0 for today against him and saw what all the hype was about.
Guys have velo in the major leagues, but just being able to pitch and kind of just throw anything at any time, it keeps you off balance, and he executed well, so he did a good job. I mean, I actually thought we did a really good job against him today. I think we could have done a better job of getting him out of the game sooner. I think we let him off the hook with some at-bats there at the end where if we extended them, kind of realized what was happening, we could have bought ourselves an extra inning or two. But other than that, I thought we did a good job. He's obviously a good pitcher and has great stuff, so that's what it is.
And lost in all of this is how great Aaron Savali pitched. Savali, I know he gave up a run late, but it was a 0-0 game. Like, I'm not going to complain ever about a quality start, especially going into the 7th inning and your second start working with a brand-new catcher in a brand-new organization. Savali, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run it was earned, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Savali got the pitch count under control, 100 pitches, 70 strikes. Certainly a great rate for him. He was there toe for toe, obviously still had a couple of hits in the hit column, but for a while he had only allowed singles, and until the RBI double by Yasmani Grandal had not allowed an extra base hit in what was a classic pitcher's duel.
I think any competitor looks forward to a matchup like that. It's going to be close the whole time. You're going to have your best bullets every single time, and just going out there and competing.
The Brewers had an opportunity, 8th, maybe the 9th, and Pat Murphy was very forthcoming with the strategy talk and what they were thinking in the 8th and 9th inning when the Brewers had a couple of chances to maybe make something happen. We'll talk about that coming up next. The Brewers fall 1-0 to the Pirates, but I think the big question today is Skeens was lifted after 7 no-hit innings. He was at 99 pitches, 65 of them were strikes. So I guess I asked the fans listening tonight live, 855-616-1620, would you have left him in? This is your cash cow. This is your guy that's going to lead you to the promised land. You've been very careful with him every step of the way. He's going to pitch in the All-Star game on Tuesday. Would you have let him go for the no-hitter in the 8th or 9th inning? Would you have let him keep going? Well, how long was his leash? In the words of Derek Shelton, in his eyes, Paul was getting tired. That was the manager's take. I respectfully disagree. He was still sitting 97-98 in the last inning, and he had a 6-pitch 7th inning. But he's the manager. I am not. I am just a lowly radio guy. But it's all good. What are your thoughts? 855-616-1620. Would you have left Skeens in? We'll talk about the 8th and 9th inning and the strategy that the Brewers did not execute with in today's 1-0 loss to the Pirates. Here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
For WTMJ contest rules, visit WTMJ.com/contests.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply. For an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Tough one today. They lose the series to the Pirates. The Cardinals were idle today, so you're still 5 games up on St. Louis with 3 games to go here in the first half. Brewers had a chance, though, especially once Skeens got out of the game in the 8th inning. They went to Colin Holderman, who is the Pirates' primary 8th inning guy. He's one of the holds leaders, not just because of his last name, here in the National League. But the way that inning began, a leadoff single, because, of course, as soon as you pull the guy throwing a no-hitter, you give up a base hit. So Bowers gets a base hit, Mitchell gets a base hit, which wasn't super surprising. Lefties hit Colin Holderman way better than righties. He is a traditional splits guy. I mean, by 400 OPS points, lefties are better than righties. So the first 2 guys do their job. They both get base hits. First and second, nobody out. 8, 9, and 1 due. Andrew Monasterio, the hitter, he was asked to bunt. He has not laid down a sacrifice bunt in his big league career. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Doesn't mean he shouldn't be asked to do it. Quite frankly, you need to do it. He failed to on the first 2 attempts. He ends up striking out. The next batter, Blake Perkins, he ends up striking out. So, boom, you've had no contact. First and second, 2 outs, top of the order, but you got a lefty, Bryce Terang. He works a great at-bat, draws a walk, loads the bases for the guy you exactly want, William Contreras, gets ahead of the count 2-1, chases back-to-back sweepers that I know he wants back, ends the inning, ends the threat. First and foremost, the bunt I thought was absolutely the right call, and Pat Murphy decided to give some insight on it and shed light on what exactly they were thinking there.
And then we had some opportunities and didn't execute, but that's the way it goes. That happens. It's hard to execute. It's not like it's a given, get a bunt down. That's not a given. First and second, you're down 1, first and second in the 8th. You'll get Terang to the plate for sure, and he's been great. And you can pinch hit. You can pinch hit. If you get second and third, then you can pinch hit for Perkins if you want. Or if you don't get first and second, then you leave a guy in that's probably not going to hit into a double play and can do some things. And Perk against a high split righty has been pretty damn good this year. So opportunity for him. He's been in those situations a lot. The alternative is a guy that could hit into a double play a lot, and Reese, who, you got to make that decision. I would have hit Reese if we got him second and third. Then they have the choice to make, and if they walk him to get to Terang, I like Terang's chances there, and we got the situation we wanted. We got the situation we wanted.
That last line is the most important one. I mean, what more can you ask for? You got first and second, nobody out. They didn't execute. And if you want to overreact to that, that's fine, but it's just the truth. Like, they didn't execute. If Monasterio gets that bunt down, Reese Hoskins probably comes up, and he's certainly a candidate to elevate the baseball. And then even if he doesn't elevate the baseball, let's say he strikes out or he grounds out, whatever, you've still got Terang coming up. So the Brewers are in the driver's seat in that regard, but then all of a sudden they pull over to the side of the road and couldn't get anything done. They didn't really get anything going in the 9th, but a couple of folks were asking, well, why did Sal get to hit against Chapman, but Reese Hoskins, who was going to pinch hit on deck for Jake Bowers, didn't get a chance to hit? You're down by 1. Don't you want a guy that can hit a home run? Well, once again, I asked Murphy this question, and he responded very cordially.
Yeah, because Sal's, if you look at Chapman has struggled this year versus lefties. Okay, that's a fact. And his walk rate versus lefties is incredible. And who's our best guy to get on base in that situation? Yelich or Sal. So, and who's been swinging the bat fantastic, even versus lefties. So Sal's rankings versus Chapman, even on our analytics stuff, is really, really high. So, and then you hit for Bowers. So what if Hoskins is up and takes a walk You know what I mean? You only hit a home run once every 20, 30 AB, whatever. You know what I mean? So what if he takes a walk? Then you got to hit. Then you don't have anybody hit for the next guy. Well, you got Churio. Well, then what about the next guy? So you got 2 men on, 2 outs, and you got to go left on left with Mitchell, and that's just not fair. So you have to make decisions there. What's your best option? Best option, get Sal in base, hit Hoskins, take a shot. If not, hit Churio.
Again, my thanks to Pat Murphy for answering so honestly and cordially. I've had some strategy conversations with Murph throughout the year, and I've been really enjoying his company, honestly. I mean, I've been covering the team since 2021 and have known Murph since I was a student at Arizona State. We were not there at the same time. We just missed each other. But the other thing is that when Murph is asked strategy questions, some managers balk and how dare you? Murph's not that guy. So I really do appreciate that. And one day maybe he will turn to me and say, how dare you ask me that? And I'm fine with that. That's okay. I'm just trying to learn the answer, and I really do appreciate him answering honestly, not tearing down the people who ask these questions, not just me, whether it's Adam, Todd, Kurt, Jack, whomever it is in the scrum. I thought that was a very, very good answer and valid reasoning. And a text that just popped in here from Mike, well, Skeens was tough. Chapman had been giving up 1 walk per inning pitched. Why swing on the first pitch, especially Frelick? You're right. Again, a lack of execution. And maybe Frelick was sitting on a pitch. We saw a ton of sliders today from Chapman. I thought was odd. He had been throwing a few more sinkers as well. Sometimes you don't realize it, but you're getting out of your game plan. I mean, look at what the Brewers did the last 3 innings against Skeens. They completely got out of their game plan. It happens. The game can speed up on you. It can happen quickly. I'm not saying it's sped up on Sal, but would he want that swing back? No, of course. But at the same time, it's like, hey, it's Aroldis freaking Chapman. If you see something you like, don't hesitate. Swing. And he didn't make contact. He didn't execute. I understand the walk thing, and I'm sure the Brewers would have a conversation if they see Skeens again. The Brewers don't see Skeens or Chapman, for that matter, until the very end of the season. That last road trip of the year is the next time they will see them in September. So they could be a different team. The Brewers could be a different team. And every game could matter there down the stretch. Talk a little bit about pitching. Savali, Myers last night, both were fantastic. Let's talk a little bit more about that coming up next here on Brewers Weekly.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, with a tip for today's home shoppers. You already know inventory is low and both competition and home prices are high. That's probably why you should not go with your bank or your real estate agent's mortgage pal for your pre-approval. You see, the banks have lots of branches, fancy headquarters, vice presidents and assistant vice presidents, and the loan officers who get referrals from real estate agents, they're typically very highly paid. Who do you think pays for all that extra expense? Turns out it's you. High overhead and high compensation naturally translate into higher closing costs. At Accunet, our extreme efficiency and low overhead mean your closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks and other lenders for exactly the same rate. Don't light your hard-earned money on fire. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval today by clicking on the blue button and put the money you'll save in closing costs towards something for your new home. That's ACCUNET.com.
There's a reason why we install Armstrong Air Pro Series systems. When your reputation is on the line, you pick the brand you can trust. It's like our employees. You pick the best to preserve your good name. A guy like me that's been working on furnaces and AC systems for over half my life. I got an eye for the good stuff. And Armstrong Air Pro Series systems fit the bill. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. When you need a good crew installing a system you can rely on, see the man in the red van.
Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Emergency service 24/7. Quality Heating has 25 trucks ready to work around the clock to get out there quickly to solve your heating or AC problem. So when that system goes on the fritz and you want to avoid that sweaty summer heat or bypass the fear of frozen feet, the man in the red van can't be beat when it comes to prompt, reliable service. Call Quality Heating for any emergency HVAC need.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
I was stuffed up. It was almost like someone put a clothespin over my nose. As an athlete, it did affect my performance. And as I got older, the congestion and poor sleep really took their toll.
Mike's a lifetime athlete. After hearing about Advent, he felt he could finally find a solution to his breathing triangle problems.
With my congestion, kind of sleep I was getting wasn't allowing me to function the way I wanted to.
When your nose isn't working like it should be, it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And then you really can't be at your best at anything that you're doing.
It's been about 5 years since coming to Advent, and what balloon sinuplasty did for my quality of life, that step I took was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Balloon sinuplasty can help solve your breathing triangle problems, which will help you sleep better. And that's going to help you live a better quality of life.
Unlock your potential. Go to adventknowes.com to schedule your appointment, because when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Brewers fall to the Pirates. They drop the series 2-3. The Nats come to town next. We'll talk about them in the next segment. Talk a little pitching here. I'm Dom Cotroneo. I thought Savali was really good today, and I mentioned it earlier that he got overshadowed by what Paul Skeens was doing. Aaron, this is my first time meeting him actually today, but very, short and to the point with the media. That's okay. But here's what he had to say about his adjustments from start to start, from his Dodger debut last week, Friday at Dodger Stadium, to what he did today.
5 more days in with these guys, so getting comfortable with them, getting comfortable with the area, and just felt good going out there and attacking. I think just had a good game plan going in. Was attacking, we're attacking hitters, mixing up the pitches and just going right after them.
Yeah, he wasn't shy. 100 total pitches, like we said, but the mixing is what really jumped out to me. 32% cutter, 26% sinker, 23% slider, 16% curveball. I mean, that's mixing. That is keeping you on your toes and trying to figure out what is going to be coming at you. Don't know what exactly it is going to be. So 100 total pitches. Got a few more swings and misses today as well. I thought that was important for him. He's not really a swing and miss guy. Got 11 whiffs out of 49 total swings. So that's a 22% rate, which is below league average. But again, he's not a guy that relies on that. The big pitch today for me was that big curveball. I mean, I was looking a little bit deeper into the numbers. Man, the vert on that, I mean, it can get up to 58, 59 inches of vertical movement, which is a foot, or 5 feet. Like, that's an insane amount of break on that curveball. Something that I really think is going to be a weapon for him. I don't love the sinker, but granted, he's a guy that really struggles with getting ground balls, but yet he uses the sinker elevated, which is kind of odd. It's kind of like an oxymoron, if you will. You don't want to elevate a pitch that's meant to be a ground ball pitch, but he uses it well. I think it's meant kind of like Colin Ray, the way he uses his cutter and his sinker and his four-seamer, where it's like, surprise, this one's actually coming in on a righty or away to a lefty. The problem is he sees so many lefties that you don't traditionally throw sinkers to lefties, and because it goes right into their barrel. And maybe that explains some of the reasoning why he has struggled against lefties so far this season. But yesterday we talked about it in the show from Wednesday night. Encourage you to listen to that on your podcast feeds at Brewers All Access, wherever you get your podcasts. Maybe you're listening to it now here on the pod. But Tobias Myers last night was fantastic. And I talked to him a little bit today in the clubhouse. Tobias was telling me the mentality shift for him. And we've talked about this a few times now with Tobias, in that how when he was optioned after a tough couple of go of things early in May, but then all of a sudden Joe Ross has his back seize up. And you're like, okay, well, have Tobias come back up. He made an appearance out of the bullpen, made another start against the White Sox, really struggled in that start, 7 hits, 5 runs. It wasn't pretty. He's optioned again the next day. Robert Gasser is up. Then, oh no, Robert Gasser gets hurt 4 days later. So Tobias comes right back up. And between having struggle start against the White Sox to his next start, which was the Tiger start, which started this run, completely different guy. I was talking to him about that. He said, you know what? I just realized I needed to stop throwing perfect pitches. My stuff plays. I've got to trust it. I've got to believe in it. And when I find that fastball command, I'm really tough to beat. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. All 6 strikeouts looking on fastballs. That's something that can really build your confidence. And this isn't meant to be a joke about the Pirates offense or anything like that. They took a lot of close pitches. They refused to swing the bat yesterday for some reason. But also, that is one of their game plans. The Pirates are a very patient team, just like the Brewers. But the difference is the Pirates actually chase more than the Brewers, even though they swing among the same rate. So, they're swinging at the wrong pitches, and they really struggled in that regard. But I was really, really happy with Tobias yesterday, and it leads you to this bigger picture. Like, man, you start scratching your head here, and you're like, okay, well, Joe Ross is on his way back. DL Hall, it's going to be another week and a half or 2 weeks or so, but he's coming back. Devin Williams is coming back. Jared Koenig threw a bullpen today. Seems like all systems go there. Maybe a couple more for him. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, like, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? I mean, that's 3 guys that are on the 60-day IL right now that need to get 40-man spots between Joe Ross, DL Hall, and Devin Williams. Jared Koenig has options available. Elvis Peguero has options available. Yoel Payamps does not. Anoli Paredes, who's on the injured list right now, does not. Then you look at your decisions of, like, all right, you try to be smarter with Brian Hudson. He went an inning in 2/3 today. That was super important for him to get back on track. But you just start realizing you've got too many guys for too few spots right now. And the decision that looms for the Brewers when Devin returns and when all these other arms return. Joe Ross, 3 2/3 last night in Nashville. He'll have probably 2 more starts in Nashville before he's back here in the big leagues. Want to get him 4, 5, 6 ups maybe to get him back here in the big leagues. And I remind you, Joe Ross was pretty solid in that first month, and then the back started to seize, and it's been over a month now, so would love to see him, almost 2 months now, would love to see him back sooner as opposed to later. And DL Hall, I don't think he's going to be your traditional role. He might be in that tweener role that we saw like Brandon Woodruff do, or Freddie Peralta do, or Corbin Burns do when they first arrived as rookies, where it's like, hey, I need like 8 outs out of you today. Can you do that? And that's where I think DL Hall is going to slide in, which will help this bullpen. I really do think so. So those are just some pitching thoughts from the last couple of days for the Brewers, as it's getting pretty crowded. But I want to talk about some rehabbers and talk about a minor leaguer that I teased here at the top that you may or may not have noticed is making some moves, and I'll explain why here in just a minute. Brewers fall today 1-0, but we're rolling on here to the top of the hour on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Here's a penny for your thoughts. There's about 11,000 tire-related crashes every year.
Mostly due to driving around on underinflated, beat-up, worn-out tires with low tread.
A couple of clicks at richlawns.com will get you scheduled for a free tire tread test.
But if you're pressed for time, there's an old trick we use in the tire industry that'll tell you if you need tires.
And that's free, too.
My dad showed me, who learned it from his dad, who learned it from someone else way back in 1964.
Ah, yes. The old penny test.
Yup, just place a penny head first.
As in upside down.
Into the groove of your tire. Now, if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, you're due for tires.
And hey, if the free penny test frazzles you, book an appointment at richlawns.com.
If your tires are good,
no harm, no foul, because it won't cost you a penny. Be safe, buckle up, and hang. Always make sure you've got good tread in your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're
due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for J.D. Griffiths. It was time for us. Our house was 20-plus years old, and the garage doors were getting dated. They were dinged up, and they were really hurting the value and the look of our house. That's why we called J.D. Griffiths, a local company. They've been at it in Milwaukee for more than 70 years, providing premier garage doors and building detached garages. We've got our new doors now, and they pop. I still got neighbors talking to me about it. Now, J.D. Griffiths does have an exclusive offer right now for you, the WTMJ listener. With any purchase of a new garage door, you can save $100 on your garage door opener. Just call 414-362-7222 and mention me, WTMJ's Eric Bilstead, or fill out the form at jdgriffiths.com/WTMJ to schedule your free at-home estimate and claim your deal. That number again, 414-362-7222. J.D. Griffiths.
This is Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
All right, a couple news and notes here. 855-616-1620. Got another 25 minutes or so here on the program. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Had a great chat today, actually, with Matt Arnold. Just hanging out in the clubhouse today. Was walking around. We don't generally talk to Pat Murphy on day games, so just saw Matt there and struck up a conversation. And it's his busy season. Him, Tom Johnson, and everybody getting ready for the draft on Sunday. They will do that here remotely, call into the draft out down in Texas, and have some fun. They got 4 picks coming up on Sunday. 4 picks in the top 70. This is what they do. Now, they'll generally have 3 picks, right, because of the competitive balance round. It alternates between the A round and the B round. But now they have an extra B round pick because of the Corbin Burns trade. Those are the only draft picks that are tradable, competitive balance picks, which some folks have teased and floated the thought of, including myself, what if you can make draft picks tradable? Like all draft picks, like you see for other sports. The counter to the reason why you don't do it is because a team like the Yankees can just sit here and say, we'll give you 3 first-rounders, and we know we can afford to go get another, whatever on the free agent market. There are a lot of teams, the big market teams can, whatever, we can lose draft pick. We'll just go make money. We'll get our guys in the, 4th, 5th, 6th round that are just as valuable. So it's tough, but I wonder if one day that could happen. But yes, you can trade competitive balance picks. So very busy week here for the Brewers. But the minor leaguer that I talked about with Matt Arnold was Tyler Black. You may have noticed yesterday, Tyler Black made his first career start in center field. And tonight, he started at third base again. First time this year he started at third base. He had been solely a first baseman all season long. Tyler has been optioned twice now this season. He had previously only been a first baseman. Now, this season I should say, because he was originally drafted as a second baseman, then was a third baseman, and now is playing first and maybe now a little bit of center field. Basically, the Brewers feel, look, Tyler's an athlete. He's going to be able to play and adjust anywhere. The Brewers believe in drafting athletes and not, just run-of-the-mill, you are only confined to this position. And they found themselves saying, you know what, let's give Tyler a chance to add a feather in his cap. And there was a name that Matt Arnold shared with me, and I know he shared this with me, willing to share it and willing to say, said, you know what, I really see a Ben Zobrist in him. Remember, of course, Matt Arnold was with the Rays for so long. Saw Ben Zobrist there where he really made a career. Then the Royals and the Cubs and the A's, and really, 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 really good career for Ben Zobrist. I think he's going to be better than that, quite frankly. I love Tyler Black's ball strike, and I called him Vautovian. I'm going to make that a word, Joey Vautovian, if you will. And he's Canadian, which is certainly a thing, but keep an eye out for that. Tyler Black kind of playing all over the place right now for the Crew. Another couple of thoughts here from the Brewers injury front. We already mentioned Joe Ross and DL Hall. Devin Williams, if you're up in Appleton, getting ready to watch the Timber Rattlers this weekend, Devin Williams scheduled to pitch on Saturday. This should be fun. And the report from the other day, Andrew Monasterio and Jake Bauer saw him when he faced live hitters on Tuesday. They basically said, look, that stuff looks good. That looks like the Devin Williams we know. And Devin feels great. He wants to get things back as soon as possible. I would be shocked if he's active against the Twins. I would be less shocked but still surprised if he's active against the Cubs. I would not be surprised if he's active against the Marlins in that series coming back from the All-Star break. Remember, he's restarting his spring training right now. But at the same time, the dude's feeling good, and he's really, really grinding and getting ready to go. I'm excited to see Devin Williams to make things a little bit easier for the Crew. Another note, Joey Ortiz, I'm pulling it up right now, what he did tonight. Because of the tweener schedule, right? So yesterday, Appleton, the Timber Rattlers had a day game, and now today they had a night game. So Joey Ortiz was able to hang out for a little bit today at the ballpark and then drive up and play with the Timber Rattlers here tonight. And the thought was he can get a couple of ABs and get back into action. Joey Ortiz today, he hit second. He got 3 plate appearances. He went 0 for 2 with a walk. He also played defense, playing third base. He is now out of the game and on his drive back down here to Milwaukee. He is eligible to be activated off the injured list tomorrow. And quite frankly, Pat Murphy told us on Wednesday, no, we expect to activate him this weekend before the All-Star break to make sure you can get a couple of ABs under his belt before you have to sit down for 5 days. So Joey Ortiz's return is imminent, which is great, great, great news for the Brewers, especially given they're going to see a couple of lefties, or I think just one lefty, if I'm not mistaken. Just one lefty, Mitchell Parker, coming up this weekend against the Nats. The Nats just got swept by the Mets this week. They were a good story early. Now they've started to sort of fall apart a little bit. Trevor Williams was a great story as well, former pupil of Pat Murphy's as well, but he's injured right now with a flexor strain. Right now, the Nats, they're really clinging on. They're not quite in the race anymore, and they've got a couple of pieces that they are certainly thinking about selling. Yeah, Jesse Winker is one of them. Lane Thomas with an extra year of control. C.J. Abrams is an all-star, and congratulations to him. But at the same time, this team, they're not great defensively, not super great defensively anyway. But if you remember the last couple of years, Lane Thomas has just been raking against the Brewers. They do not have any power as well. They're second to last in home runs in Major League Baseball, fifth to last in team OPS. They are last in barrel rate, and they really don't have a ton of speed either. So wonder what kind of matchup this would lead to this weekend. The pitching matchups, once again, as we mentioned, the lefty going on Saturday. Tomorrow, they'll be calling up Jackson Rutledge. He'll be making another start. He's made an appearance already this season in the big leagues. Rutledge, 25 years old, 6'8". He's a top 30 prospect for them. This will only be his second appearance in the big leagues this year, his first start as a big leaguer. Down in AAA, 16 starts. He's got a 6.66. Ooh, it's the sound of the cross. Real quick. Get out of there. But anyway, he's getting the start tomorrow. Lefty Mitchell Parker, 2 first names, Ricky Bobby, going on Saturday. And then Jake Irvin, who's been fantastic for the Nationals. Jake Irvin will go on Sunday. The Brewers, they will counter with the following rotation. It would be Freddie Peralta tomorrow, Dallas Keuchel on Saturday, and Colin Ray on Sunday, which ideally would line up Freddie Peralta as well coming up on Saturday against the Twins coming up out of the break. The only response on the no-hitter question, Doug came in and said, I would have left him in, wanted to see some history, which the Brewers had him. Wow, of course. Well, he was the number 1 pick overall, Doug. Weren't going to be. You don't want the Brewers to be picking number 1 overall because that means they missed the postseason. Granted, the Guardians have the number 1 pick on Sunday, and they really were only, 8 games under 500 last year? That's the new lottery system. Teams like the A's, teams like the Rockies, it's no guarantee that you're going to get that number 1 pick. Another question here about the roster crunch upcoming. Milner, Payamps, are those options for the Brewers considering the roster crunch? I think everybody's on the table. If you're not optionable, you're going to have to perform. It's that simple. The Brewers are running out of space. And yes, there are some guys that have provided some really, really important innings for the Brewers. But at the same time, there are some guys that haven't performed like they're used to. Payamps and Milner. Now, I believe that they can get back on track, but they're up against not against Father Time, but they're up against the 8 ball here. They're running out of time to prove that they should stick around. So probably 2-3-ish weeks left until Devin returns. Just something to keep in mind. Take a breather, come back with more, some miscellaneous notes. Got some home run derby field all finalized and getting near the end here of the program. Brewers Weekly going to the top of the hour on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Save big money now on pre-finished siding at Menards. Update and beautify your home with your choice of 13 timeless colors of pre-finished LP Smart Side engineered siding. It's durable and includes a Sherwin-Williams machine-applied paint warranty. That means no painting for years to come. View our entire selection of siding from LP Smart Side at Menards. Number 1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars? Each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and Chris talk Bucks offseason and dive into roster moves that could be on the horizon. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or two. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
Home Run Derby coming up on Monday. I used to love the Home Run Derby. It's kind of changing up a little too much for my taste. I love the timer, but I think it could have worked if they actually enforced the no pitch until the ball lands rule. They stopped enforcing that the last couple of years. I just never understood that. And now they've changed it to like 40 pitches in the first couple of rounds. And I get it. They're trying not to wear out their stars because like all the years that you see record breakers, right? Like Vlad or Julio or Josh Hamilton, like none of those guys won the Home Run Derby because they got gassed in the first round. So they're trying to save that in some regard. 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620 if you're listening live here on WTMJ. This text from Mike in Colorado. Who goes down when Joey Ortiz comes back? Vinny Capra. Vinny Capra, utility infielder. He is here he was originally a Pirate years ago, and he's just up here. He was the replacement, so he has an option year remaining. You'll send him back down and get some regular at-bats down in AAA Nashville. This text from the 262. Is Bryce Terang going to slide into the All-Star game somehow? I wouldn't hold your breath. I think Arise is going to get in, and Ketel Marte's healthy. He's played the last 3 games. So some folks were saying, his back's hurt. He's not going to play. Like, well, today would have been the day that they announce it, because today Jose Altuve announced that he's not going to play in the All-Star game, which gave Marcus Semien the chance to be the starter at second base in his home park, which is pretty cool for Marcus Semien. I'm always a massive Marcus Semien fan. Even back to his Oakland A's days as well. So a couple of good questions there as well. Home Run Derby, the field is set. Who you got in this one? Gunnar Henderson, Adolis Garcia, Pete Alonso, Jose Ramirez, Alec Boehm, Marcell Ozuna, Bobby Witt Jr., and Teoscar Hernandez. So a couple of tie-ins here. Bobby Witt Jr., of course, his dad, Bobby Witt, played for the Rangers. He grew up in the Dallas area. That'll be cool for him. He's a massive Dallas sports fan still. I remember when the Royals were here last year, I went up to him and talked to him a little bit because the Stars, the hockey team, they were still in the Western Conference Final at the time, or the semifinals a year ago, and they were dialed in. It was Game 6 that night, trying to get back into the Stanley Cup Final, but they ended up losing to the Vegas Golden Knights last year, and then this year they lose to the Edmonton Oilers, who lost, of course, to the Florida Panthers. But Bobby Witt Jr. is a fun story, of course. Adolis Garcia, he's a Ranger. Going to have the hometown crowd going nuts for him. Jose Ramirez played in the Home Run Derby in 2021 in Los Angeles. Remember, he almost got burned to a crisp with the pyrotechnics behind him and everything. That was a funny meme for a couple of weeks. Teoscar Hernandez, sneaky under the radar. I'm a little annoyed that Pete Alonso's in it again. I mean, I get it. He's won it twice. But there was a great article written in The Athletic this week, like, hey, Major League Baseball insisting on Pete Alonso being in the Home Run Derby might have cost Francisco Lindor or Brendan Nimmo an all-star spot. And it's the truth. I mean, how has Brandon Nimmo never been an all-star? He's a great player, and he's been an incredible season. And Francisco Lindor, I was listening to a podcast this week on The Athletic, a big fan of Rates and Barrels of Eno Saris, Derek Van Riper. Derek, of course, a Wisconsin guy, Brewers fan through and through. And they were talking about the fact that Lindor, who had the quietest 30-30 season ever last year, right now has a 768 OPS. He's got 16 homers, 26 doubles. And I get it, it's the Mets. Everyone's like, oh, the Mets. The dude hasn't been an all-star since 2019 with Cleveland. He was an all-star 4 straight years. Just back-to-back top 10s and MVPs. Probably going to get another one this year. I'm shocked that Francisco Lindor has not been an all-star as a Met yet. We'll see what happens in the future for him. Those are just some quick miscellaneous thoughts on this one. We'll look ahead to the upcoming schedule. We'll get you ready for the All-Star break and take a quick peek back as well as we get ready to wrap up the show after this on WTMJ.
I'm Greg Matzik. In Green Bay, the Ed Policy era will begin in July of 2025. The current chief operating officer of the Packers, he is going to replace current president and CEO Mark Murphy.
And I'm Jessica Tai. New details at noon about Ascension's cybersecurity attack. The hospital group now says it knows how the attackers gained access to their systems.
What is that exactly?
Wisconsin's Midday News.
Weekdays 11 to 1
at 620 WTMJ.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Make the most of summer when the Brewers take on the Nationals July 12th through the 14th, featuring a Brewers Image Viewer giveaway and Cerveceros Day festivities. Get on board at brewers.com/tickets.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life. And that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
It's Brewers Weekly on WTMJ.
All right, let's get ready to say goodnight here. Real quick note, Phillies ended up finishing that sweep against the Dodgers. So don't look now, but I know everyone was doom and gloom after the loss in the series to the Dodgers over the weekend. The Brewers are once again only one game back of the second seed. And they've still got a 4-game series to play head-to-head here at American Family Field next month. Just something to keep an eye on. They're still not out of it for the second seed, and they certainly control their own future in that regard. This weekend, 7:10 tomorrow, 3:10 on Saturday, 1:10 on Sunday. We start the hour before each night. We're on the air at 6 tomorrow, on the air at 2 on Saturday, and on the air at noon on Sunday. Then it is your All-Star break. And not only is it your All-Star break, it is my All-Star break as well. Definitely going to unplug for a few days and get ready to go. 5 days off, and then you get the Twins on Saturday and Sunday in Minnesota. come back here to Wrigley. Last matchup of the year with the Cubs. 3-game set Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Cubbies. And then another off day the following Thursday. And then back home for the Marlins coming up this week. So I wanted to do a little fun activity here as we wrap up the program. I've just minimized at least 100 plate appearances this season for the Brewers. Just play along with me. Who's leading in batting average? You know that answer because he's leading the National League, Christian Yelich. Who's leading in the most hits on the team? William Contreras. Who's got the most doubles on the team? William Contreras. Who's got the most homers on the team? That's a tie. Rhys Hoskins and Willy Adames. Who's got the most walks on the team? Willy Adames. That was the one that threw me a curveball. Leading it on base, no surprise. That would be Christian Yelich. Leading in slugging, also no surprise, Christian Yelich. And thus, he is also leading in OPS. I think for me, the biggest surprise and smile that I'm going to remember from this first half, which is not over yet, and we'll talk more about this on Sunday's show, is the emergence of this bullpen of a bunch of guys, with all due respect, came out of nowhere. Brian Hudson, Jared Koenig, Trevor McGill. Now, Trevor McGill didn't come out of nowhere, but he's closing games, and it's been incredible for him. The emergence of those guys. And Oli Paredes had a couple of really good games. The Brewers have been able to continue keeping things rolling when it comes to, it's a cliche, next man up, but it really is working right now for the Brew Crew. 3 more games for the end of the first half. Hope you tune in all weekend long. I'll be here with you for reacting to all of it. Thanks to our producers today, Matt Yazel and Nate Rilling. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers back at it tomorrow against the Nats. Until next time, keep on swinging.
In this seller's market, even homeowners are trying to sell their own home. But more times than not, it doesn't work out like they'd hoped. And while homes like theirs are selling, and selling fast for over